Good evening. Melbourne has let its hair down on our first night out of lockdown, with pubs, restaurants and cafes bursting. Jumping for joy, hundreds of young revellers blew away months of cobwebs by turning Chapel Street into a giant dance party. Lana Murphy begins tonight's coverage.
After some serious lockdown burnout, it was time to let off some steam. And in true Melbourne fashion, it was done dancing down Chapel Street. Utes and cars became the substitute stage for a show 263 days in the making. Boxed in by the rowdy crowd, this taxi driver decided to join in on the fun, as did firefighters cutting chap laps before punters tried to hitch a ride.
When they came past and put the sirens on, the crowd just went mental, and it seemed like it was all good fun, you know.
The unofficial party kicked off in Paran at dinner time as a resident DJ bled music from his apartment window.
Look at these legends. Up the top of Revolver. I love it.
And as the sky darkened, the crowd expanded, bringing traffic to a standstill. Even newborn babies got their first taste of freedom, while businesses were filled to the COVID-safe brim.
That's the lifeline of whole Chapel Street, so it's great to have, people bustling around.
But police were forced to step in when some took it too far.
Two women maybe in their 40s just driving by, and they didn't take too kindly to people jumping on the car and kind of hitting their mirrors, lifting their wipers.
She got out and then she tried to swing a kick. Everyone just started screaming at her, and then they started throwing bottles.
A handful of revellers were told to head home, but there were no arrests or fines issued. Even the COVID commander is looking forward to one day joining the fun.
We've all worked so damn hard to get to this point. Let's not forget we've still got COVID out there in the community, so you can dance on taxis as far as I'm concerned, but just please be safe in how you do it.
And Lana is in Chapel Street tonight. Lana, the party looks far from over.
I don't think it'll ever be, Alicia. It is our first Saturday night out on the town in more than 11 weeks, and people are certainly taking advantage. Almost every venue here in Chapel Street have been taking advantage, soaking up the atmosphere here. All the venues have been booked out at capacity for most of the day, and the same is expected for tomorrow. Many venues aren't even accepting walk-ins. Some are even booked up until November, but people are down here soaking up the atmosphere, and we can say that at least Melbourne's typical weather isn't dampening anyone's spirits.
Good to see. All right, Lana Murphy there, thank you. Well, Melburnians are certainly savouring the first weekend of freedoms, from family reunions at home to brunches and lunches with friends. But many are already looking ahead to the extra opportunities 80% double dosed will bring. Stephanie Anderson with the story.
Some much-loved Saturday morning rituals have returned.
You can chuck some bacon on the side of there.
And not even Mother Nature can dampen Melbourne's fresh freedom spirit.
Here we go, guys. Thank you.
Whether it's over a latte or caught in a grandparent cuddle, time with family and friends is the focus this weekend. The Old Faithful barbecues on the banks of the Yarra abandoned because catch-ups under your own roof are hard to resist. But before some launched into a packed social calendar, they played the waiting game for a little post-lockdown grooming.
Because I've got a family function on tomorrow afternoon, and look, I'm an absolute mess, I know, but I'm not going to be like this in 24 hours' time.
On the first day of us having more room to move, another 1,750 COVID cases were confirmed and sadly 9 deaths. 770 people now need hospital treatment, 14 less than yesterday, numbers that have stabilised in the last week, in part due to infection demographics.
3/4 of cases in regional Vic being under the age of 40, 2/3 of those in Melbourne under the age of 40. We know younger people are less likely to end up in hospital, particularly if they're vaccinated.
86% of patients currently in a hospital bed aren't fully vaccinated, bolstering the effort to encourage second doses. Victoria needs another 440,000 of those shots in arms to reach the 80% target, and 100,000 people are eligible to bring their appointment forward.
Now we've got to get the kids done. We've got to get the jabs done for those that are high risk in health services to get their boosters. but we're all ready. We want to do this.
Another 99,558 vaccinations have been delivered across the state. Now 90.2% of the over 16 population is single-dosed. 73.1% are double.
I'm very confident we'll get to that 80%, in the next week or so.
When we do, the roadmap says the state unites under the same rules. We can ditch masks outdoors, kids are back in the classroom full-time, hospitality caps increase and retail reopens.
The CBD is on life support. You can see from the retail around us, it is absolutely dead.
But the door has been left open to breathing more life into a city finally coming up for air.
Government will make the announcements when they're ready to make the announcements and when they've got news to share.
Well, tonight I can confirm that news is expected tomorrow. Senior Cabinet Ministers will meet today and also again in the morning to finalise the plan. And much like the 70% announcement we saw last weekend, the Premier is expected to give Victorians an advance date and details on when those 80% changes will kick in. Now, there's been multiple mentions of flexibility around going further than what's currently in the roadmap. That would likely be in the form of increased capacities or limits for businesses, because under this next step, essentially everything is back to operating in some way, shape or form. So, Alicia, they are details we'll all be watching for tomorrow.
Certainly will. All right, Steph Anderson, thank you.